And I'm so grateful that you took the time out, even on a day like today, to be educated. And I'd like to thank the host. Where is she? Rosalind, for this lady is a visionary, because this type of summit needs to be in every city every year. So let's give Rosalind a hand. And the young lady who introduced me, my friend, of course, she pretty much told you the whole story of Sisters Network in 5 minutes, but I have 20, so you're going to get the long version. What I wanted to do today, because we all hear a lot about breast cancer, we just don't hear enough about African American women in breast cancer. So I'm going to give you some facts, then I'm going to give you the perspective of Sisters Network, and also you'll hear some things about what's going on in the field, in the movement of breast cancer, and how you as an individual can participate. Believe it or not, yes, each and every one of you is needed. I am going to show a brief video so that we know that visually you learn more when you are able to see, hear, and you'll be able to touch me. You'll learn more. So please show the next slide. The most important thing now, how many survivors are in the house? Hey, hey, survivor sisters. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. And I have to share with each and every one of you, in 1994, when I started Sisters Network, if I had a group like this and I said, how many survivors in the house? There might be 5 to 10, but no one would raise their hand, because then we were ashamed. But guess what? 25 years later, we raise our hand, but how much action is behind that? How many are involved in the movement? Not necessarily Sisters Network, but how many are taking the time to be involved? Oh, we read things and then we go watch TV or have something good to eat, and whatever we learned is gone. Take time to share the knowledge, inform your family, your colleagues, your neighbors, inform somebody you don't like. It's okay. The information is valuable. You need to do that. So let's get to some facts. What is cancer? If you can read it, fine. If not, I'll just summarize. It's the spread of abnormal cells. They go crazy. They just keep multiplying. That's all that is. That's what that says. What causes cancer? Most of us know. They talk about tobacco, and thank God they finally added that to the list, because it's very important to not smoke or even have contact with secondhand smoke. The infectious organisms, that's something new and different that's just been added. Unhealthy diet, we have all grown up with eat this, do that, stop this, this works. You have to be almost a scientist to know what you should do. Well, I can only tell you that a year ago, I was 30 pounds more. And I took my health, as far as what I ate, a lot more seriously, because I've been a diabetic for many years. And my numbers for this year have been normal. Now, I have to tell you, I didn't get diabetes because of my family history. I was thrown into the diabetic situation because of my chemotherapy. And so I didn't really gradually go into being a diabetic. It was like chemo's over, diabetic. So I, of course, mentally had to deal with just being a cancer survivor, so being a diabetic wasn't hardly on my list. But I can tell you that when I made up my mind to pay attention to what I've learned and put something together for myself that could work for me, all I did was eliminate certain foods that bring your numbers, your blood numbers high. You want to know some of the things that we should cut out? Not totally, but cut out in order to lose the weight, because that's part of being a diabetic. I don't even know why I'm discussing this, because I'm supposed to talk about breast cancer. But diet is important. Carbohydrates, sweets, contribute to your blood, your A1C. When you cut that out or cut it down, you'll notice your numbers go down. And that's all I did. 30 pounds later, didn't starve myself. I ate more of other things to replace the potatoes, French fries that I like. I had some last night, but guess what? I didn't eat the whole bowl. I ate a few. The bread, instead of eating all of it, I ate half. So that's just a heads up for everybody who's interested. Okay, the next slide. Well, the inherited factors, the mutations, and hormones and immune conditions, all of those play a factor in your genetic history. Next slide. Breast cancer statistics, and I don't have to really go through them because guess who gave a great job of the statistics about breast cancer? Ricky did, because she is also a survivor and a board member of Triple Negative. But too many of us, the breast cancer, we know that it is the highest cancer that we have in incidence of cancer. So that should give you a clue. One of the doctors earlier talked about 1 in 25. Well, breast cancer for Black women is between 1 in 8 and 1 in 9. So we can do something about that. And I can tell you, the next slide, some of the things that the treatments, the surgery, the radiation, the chemotherapy, and I've had all of the above. The hormone therapy came out after I was through. Immune therapy is wonderful. Targeted therapy, all these new techniques are wonderful and cut down on the severity of having breast cancer. Now, all treatment does not make you lose your hair, ladies. All treatment does not make you lose weight. There are so many nuances and variations to the treatment, and of course, what you bring to the table when you have cancer is most important. So as a diabetic, I have to know what I'm bringing to the table. Should I be diagnosed for the 4th time? And I plan to take care of that, should that happen. Finding your breast cancer at its earliest stage, which is DCIS, and they consider that pre-cancer. So my first cancer was stage 2. So that put me at risk, so I had to have the surgery, radiation, and chemotherapy. My second cancer I found because I am in tune with my body. And in being in tune, I felt, not with my fingers, ladies, I felt it internally, sensation. So I brought that to the doctor, told her where it was. I did like, here. It didn't show up. I kept saying, here. So we went and had the ultrasound because the mammogram did not show my second cancer. It didn't show the first one either. It was the ultrasound, and I caught it at its earliest stage, which is DCIS. Everyone would like to catch it at that stage because you don't have to take treatment and you don't have to have radiation unless there's some nuances of your DCIS. It's not 100% of everyone has that situation. The third time I had cancer, I also found it, and it was in the opposite breast. I felt the same sensation, and I can't describe it to you. It didn't hurt. It didn't itch. It was just there, like maybe a toothache that's not serious, but you know you got a problem that you need to take care of. So I did again. It's here. We also had to wait for it to show up on the scan. So finally it showed up on the scan, and it was DCIS. I feel blessed, and I know that my longevity in being a cancer survivor comes from my knowledge, comes from my blessings from the Lord, and comes from my family support, and of course, taking care of my body. This is who we are as an organization, Sisters Network. We don't just support each other, we learn, we educate each other. We make sure we attend events like this that's not just about breast, because we can all learn something else. So it's important to show up. This information shows you about mammograms. So we know that in our community, and everybody in here knows someone who has not had their mammogram, and that's all I have? Okay, next slide. Anyone who's had a mammogram, we know it does hurt a little bit, but it can save your life. But what I want to spread to you is not just get the mammogram. That only gives you 85% of what's going on in your body. You need 100%. Don't we want 100? In order to get 100% of what's in your body, you have to include the ultrasound. Now, I don't have time to tell you what the ultrasound is. It doesn't hurt. You're entitled to it. You should get it. And it gives you 100% of what's going on in your body. It helped me 3 times with my cancer. It's helped women across the country. But that's the knowledge, which is the power that you have, that when you're educated, use your power. This is just, well, my board of directors, we have some phenomenal people, and you saw Camille Cash, who is the 2-time board certified plastic surgeon, and everybody else there is famous, but I got 1 minute. Next slide. This is our medical advisory board. Lisa Newman, Dr. Lisa Newman, who is over the board. She's phenomenal. She's here at Sloan Kettering. Next. Our affiliate chapters are listed here. You can go on our website, sistersnetworkinc.org, find a location near you. Next slide. This is the Stop the Silence walk, which helps us finance our breast cancer assistance program, which helps women across the country, and you do not have to be a member of Sisters to get financial help. We, in 2018, provided $100,000 to women across the country to help them stay in their apartment or their house, help them with their utilities, help them with prostheses and things of that nature. And I have to do a plug, if you don't mind. Plug on. This card that's on everyone's table, and everyone in the seat should have one, is the Stop the Silence. And I named it Stop the Silence because we are still silent about breast cancer. So this walk is how we finance our breast cancer assistance program. It is held every year in Houston, and if you aren't able to come to Houston, even though it's a national walk, we have people from all over the country that come, and those who can't come, you can go online and donate. It's just as much as you want, but if you want to be a virtual walker, it's just $35. So we appreciate that from the communities who aren't able to support by coming, and we're expecting 8,000 people, and you can see from the earlier slide, that's how many people show up. But we should be, this year, we should be at 10. So I'm hoping with what's going on in the country, in the health situation, with gatherings like this, more people will be apt to come to Houston or support virtually. This is one of our most progressive programs called the Gift for Life Block Walk, which we go door to door because everyone doesn't come out to conferences and summits. This is information about the breast cancer assistance program. Like I said, it was $100,000 this past year. Next slide. I don't really know how to hurry up. Brothers helping sisters. Can you believe African-American men came together to put this together for Sisters Network? It's not a national program yet, but we hope to have that. Our national outreach, which we've talked about. Next slide. The bottom line is that we save lives, and we invite all of you to be a part of saving lives in the African American community. Thank you.